Hey guys, welcome back to Book to Block, the series where I bring my fantasy novel to life in Minecraft one block at a time. Today's episode, we're working on getting some money for our city and working on our bank. So I was thinking which one should go where, because I'm building both a bank and a mint. That's what these pink areas are. I kind of placed them down as this being the mint, and it kind of makes a bit more sense. For the bank to be a little lower, more accessible to the people in the city because they need to access it. And the mint probably needs to have a lot of security on this pathway up here. So this path is probably going to change because I want to have the bank kind of more into the mountain itself because I'm not really utilizing the interiors. If I go into no clip here, I don't really use too much inside the volcano, and they're dwarves, they like underground, so I want to use more of the interior. So I'm probably going to bring this out and then redesign where this is going to go after I finish this entire build. So let's get into the bank building now. All right, we're here in my outskirts where I do all my planning for some builds. I've grabbed a chunk of the mountainside here where you can see the mint up here, bank down here. And I've kind of sketched out a general shape using my very simple technique of placing on the outside and then the inner wall. I've gone with the end stone because it's similar in a way to the white of the pale oak that I used for the temple. So this is like a higher end, but it's not quite the white. So it's like kind of off white, and it surprisingly goes well with like the deeper of the deep slate tile. So I can always change it easily if I go into Axiom and just want to, I don't know what I was doing with this, I can just drag this down and bam, all changed. But that can be a later thing if I don't like how it looks at the end. I've kind of changed the shape of the mountain. You might notice I brought this out a lot further. This used to be the slope down here, just so I had space to work, and then I can reshape it later, get that path going up to the mint later on. And we kind of flattened out this area. So I'm thinking this is about the height I'm going, and this is the outskirts. So I'm thinking we're gonna have a nice desk at the front. Obvious, that's where you get your money, the teller, and such like that. Over to one side, we'll have the area that's probably gonna go down, like downstairs to the vault, and then a staircase up to the second floor where we'll have sort of office space for like where they're gonna keep all the information on each person, like the patrons, where how much money each person has, and things like that. So now we have to kind of fix up the sides, decide what kind of structure I want to go for these walls, see what kind of details I might want to add into them. It's kind of like what I did in the last episode for the shops. Just make a mock, kind of maybe just do one corner, and then I can copy the design to each of these little increments in between. So let's get to planning that. All right, little check-in. Got a little bit more done here. Finishing on one side, kind of just copying over to get a good look and shape for the other side. Continuing in with the deep slate, I've gone in with a little of the bricks for the back, going even further in, going a lot of depth into this build, and a little bit of glass. I might change that out for either the panes or a colored variation, depending on how I feel for those. But we're getting a little bit of detail you can see coming in like these arches, a little bit of half slab action here, and got my three kind of window ports. Not all need to be windows because obviously we have stuff inside here, so we can't have windows on every wall. But if we come on to this side, I'm playing around a little bit with the birch shelves. None of the other shelves, like let's look at those, really fit with this theme. Like, I mean, I can test some of the other ones, but that just feels like too far off. And then I've got to go into here, switch them to that one. You can do it with redstone stuff, but I think it's just easier for building just to use Tinker. And then we got this detail on this side. So I'm pretty much done on the first floor. Just need to copy it over, which is basically just really easy. Just go copy, make sure we get the whole thing. Everything selected, okay. And then I'm gonna Control F, flip it, and line it up with my markers. And bam, we have both sides done. All right, we're getting closer. I've got a roof on now, so I've kind of picked around the same point. Got about the height I chose. And I'm just doing half. I've put a wall up so I can kind of just focus on one side. Don't have to worry about the symmetry. And then I'll just copy and paste it over nice and easily afterwards. Adding a little bit more detail. I've gotten a little further onto the second floor. I think, yeah, I'm going to do a really big first floor to about here, I want to say. And just so it's like really open, nice teller bank or teller desk here. Maybe maybe not a vault door, but like stairs down to a vault door. That sounds kind of fun. But we're working on it slowly. Got the roof on, kind of messing around with the kind of lip here. Not sure how I like it. I like how it kind of goes in here, but I'm not sure about getting onto the roof. I, I gotta mess around with it a bit more. We can play around and see how it looks afterwards. But we're getting lots of windows in. I think I do like the light gray a little bit more than the clear, just because it doesn't stand out quite as much. With the clear, it has that edge. You might notice I've installed continuity, the mod that helps you with the glass. As you can see here, usually you'd have a bunch of these edges, but this makes it look a lot nicer. All one texture. Gotta fix that one on the inside there. Probably don't actually need that there. Looks like I got one missing over here too. Lots of leftover bits from testing. But we're looking pretty good. I'm gonna finish off the front bit here. I think I'm gonna leave a nice big like circle or square in the front for like a logo of some kind. Maybe like a big gold bar or something. We can mess around with that afterwards. Alright, we've cleaned it up a little bit, finished filling in any of the gaps I think I can see. We'll mess around with the roof a little bit more later, but we need to get to the interior. Left a big open space for a billboard, sign, whatever, to identify this building. But we've copied it over now, so let's line it up the best we can. Should work, and if we paste it in, looking good. We've got a full build basically all ready to go. So now it's time to head on to the interior. Alright, time for the shaders to come off so we can actually go inside and actually see everything before we get all the lighting in. So I've done a little bit of detailing. Got a little bit of like a waiting room over here. Played around with the different pots and flowers for a little decoration. Now over here, so this side, it's going to go down into the vault. So I started the staircase nice and wide, very fancy. Don't want it to be very cramped. Nice open room so at least two people can walk down at the same time without feeling too crowded. I've got my front teller's desk, playing around a little bit with the polished andesite. Not sure how it works, might flip it around with something else. But then we got our teller desk. So we got some signs that might say something like open, close. I can put that there. Nice little area. We have a door to get behind so the person can work from back here. Probably have it locked most of the time for safety reasons and such. There'll probably be like a staircase that's going to also go to, but maybe both up and down, depending on what the teller kind of needs, because they're only going to have a certain amount of gold on hand. So I'll need to get a little bit of like a safe box here. And then if we come over to this side, like I said, we're going to do the staircase up. So this is the second floor. So let's open this up a little bit. So nice and open right now. We can push back this a little further if we need more space, or if we want to just close it off and make it feel like it's larger than it is, because I mostly put the wall actually where the mountain is, but this makes it look like it's a much larger building. It's kind of like an illusion of size. You got large or half a building outside, but there's only technically half a building inside as well. So let's do a little bit more detailing. Don't like how squared off these walls are, so I might do something with those as well. But let's get a bit more detail in here. All right, and that is the interior, all complete to what I feel like is good enough for now. We can always go back and do more interiors later on in the series, but I think this is a lot of detail just for this one build. So we're going to now copy this all over and bring it back over to the main mountain, or the volcano. So I'm just going to grab everything up quickly, try and include every little bit, and then I'm going to go in and get the interior, bring it all over, and then I'll show it off to you. All right, just sliding it into place. I think that's right. Yep, looking like it's perfect. We're going to now paste that in, and it's over on this side. So let's clean up our little markers of the pink here, because they are no longer needed in this area. I'm going to have to do a little bit of terraforming to fix this area. Don't need quite as much of this ledge as I thought, because I decided to go into it. But let's head on inside, and I'll fix that on my own time. So I'll figure out what I want to do with the sign. Probably just a big gold bar. Ooh, should have copied in all of the air as well. Let me go fix that real quick. Alright, let's try this again. I've cleaned up the pathway in front here, added in my little detailing with the cracked blackstone bricks, and kind of started working on the terrain a little bit. It needs to be a little bit more sloped, so there's actually access up here when I build the mint eventually. But now let's actually go inside for the first time for the final build. You come in here, we've got our front desk kiosk where we'll be trading all the money. We'll have a person working back there. Little access door for them, only for their eyes only. Nice little lobby area here with a couple of seats, little sitting area, things like that. I fixed up the roof so it's kind of a little bit more tiered, a little bit more detail in here, as well as some lighting so that this whole place can actually function at night as well. Now, if we head on into this way, this is to the vault. So let's go to the, I guess, the little less interesting part, the upstairs. So first up here, we have a little bit of storage area just for basic storage needs. Kind of slope this off so it didn't feel so open in this area. Stairway up, some guardrails, and these walls felt really empty. So I decided to add a couple paintings using the slabs kind of to focus them in. Kind of looks really cool like that. Obviously, the paintings are just default Minecraft vanilla, so one day when I make my own texture pack, they'll be a lot more interesting. Interesting type of roof I've got here, kind of like the planks holding it up with the actual lighting in here, using the bird trapdoors to kind of hide the lighting so it's not super bright. A couple more chairs to sit around in, and then a couple cubicles. So areas for people to sit, maybe get loans from the bank and things like that. This is just an empty door just because it felt a little empty, so if I ever need something, there's space back here to expand. Another cubicle, and into the boss's office. So again, using these kind of borders for the paintings. Same roof style. I separated the lighting a little bit. Not sure if I like it. Those ones need to be fixed so that they're on the same axis. But we got a big door. Oh, I thought that was a different color, just the lighting coming from the window. Big desk, big chair, bit of storage, filing cabinets, and shelving. So that is the boss's room. Let's head downstairs now. All right, now we're heading into the vault. This room feels a little empty, so something might need to be done in the future, but let's head to the most important part, the vault. So I've got this vault door here. I've left it open so we can actually access it. I kind of cut out the wall for where if it were to slide in. So we have the 1, 2, 3, that would go here, down one for the 3, and then this little gap to fill it in so it's nice and snug when it does get closed. And then we head on in here to the vault. So I was thinking of doing just a giant pile of money, but these are civilized dwarves. They keep things shelved away nice and organized and such. Kind of have this kind of hinge on the door thought of. It's kind of cool. Not sure how it works, but I think it works for what I'm going for. Got these pillars holding up the roof so that it never collapses and we're all safe in here. Ooh, those are from upstairs. I didn't realize they come through down here, but that's fine. But this is the kind of vault. I was thinking maybe I'll add in like a table in the center with a bit of gold, but this is how it keeps organized for all the patrons of the vault and of the bank itself. Alright, so I went in and added my entity gold bar here. One downside of using an entity is if you get far away enough, it's going to despawn. I'm not sure if there's like a setting to make it more universal from further away, but the nice thing is if we come down to the front gates here, or I guess I don't know which one's the front, if this is the front or the other side, but this is the one to the entrance of the whole region. But if you walk through here, you can't see it here, but if you take just one more step, it's visible. So it kind of works for when you're in the city, no matter where you are. I guess when it's visible. I guess this is probably the furthest point, but yeah, it's on the wall. So I might have to figure out how to make this more visible from further away so it works, or I might just have to design my own because it is pretty big, so it's getting to the point where it's possible I might be able to build it using like blocks and stuff. But I went around and added in some of the regular endstone just to break up the pattern. I added a bit of the cracked on the roof here. I did add some to the actual bricks here, but it's a bank. It's where all the money is, so they should have enough money for the upkeep of the building itself. This is just, it's out of the view, so not as needed to be taken care of. So that was kind of my thought process behind it, but everything is looking pretty good, and this is another build done in the city. A little bit of a shorter episode today, just because I kind of did most of the building off camera, unlike how I usually do it with a bunch of time lapses and stuff, but I think it's okay for a short episode every once in a while. But if you enjoyed today's episode, please leave a like and subscribe for more episodes coming soon. Until next time.